Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. We've got another of our interviews with executives of mining companies. Today we have Ewan Downie, who his i-80 Gold put out some pretty spectacular numbers. i-80 Gold announces best results to date from underground drilling at Cove. Results include 18.9 grams over 29.3 meters, 14.9 grams over 32 meters, and 15.7 grams over 22.5 meters. I always love this project, Ewan, and it just gets better.
Yeah, truly, it's the drill program from underground that we started up a couple of months ago has been pretty remarkable. These are truly world-class results, and at least as good and maybe a little bit better than we were expecting when we started up the program. We discussed just before we went online that, often with these Carlin systems, when you start to tighten up, you find more and more of the high-grade mineralization that's mixed in. And what we're seeing is that at least in the first two drill bays we've been drilling from so far, that the grades are quite a bit higher than what we saw in the surface drilling in this area.
And another thing that I always like to hear when I hear high grade is continuity. They talk about grade being king, but you and I know it's continuity that's really king. And that you've got that high grade and you've got the continuity.
Yeah, a lot of mines that we've seen not succeed over the last decade, let's say, have been primarily as a result of continuity. And at Cove, we postponed some of the things that we were going to do in terms of development. Some of the major dewatering tests we postponed because we wanted to get a bit more drilling to try to demonstrate to ourselves that we believe that there's sufficient continuity here to go ahead with full mine development. And we're definitely seeing that in the drill program is pretty remarkable continuity. We're doing 30-meter step outs, and it's more or less a flat lying deposit, and we're hitting it in, well, it's not every hole because we're trying to find the limits as well. But if you look at the list of the first 11 holes we released, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and so you've gone in with a tunnel, and now you're drilling bays with a whole array of holes into that, and you've got a bunch more of that to keep doing.
Yeah, we're actually drilling 40 kilometers or 40,000 meters in this drill program, and we don't expect to be finished the underground program until the end of 2024. So it's going to be a long-winded program, but in order to set Cove up to be a successful mine in the future, we know we have to spend the dollars on doing the definition drill program, making sure we do a proper feasibility study that will result in this being a profitable and economic mine.
And I think for the investor out there, what you're talking about is really important, Ewan, because I like having you on because you also help the investors in what to look for, and doing that serious drilling before you're in a rush to put something into production can save you some big problems down the road.
For sure. I think probably early on, when we started i-80 about 2 years ago, I think kind of our thinking was let's rush this. But we saw, pure gold was one of the examples we don't want to see in this industry, and the continuity wasn't there. Maybe the setup work beforehand didn't work. So it truly made us kind of take a pause and say, why did they fail? Like, what can we learn from these companies who didn't succeed in transitioning from explorer to producer, and how do we not make those mistakes? And I think that's kind of something that we're doing throughout the company, is really how do we set up this company for long-term success? Because I'd like to see it as a pretty major shareholder of this company succeed and be the stock trade at multiples of where it is today, and do it over a period of time. So I'd like to think that my investment is going to double or triple over the next several years, and that's pretty hard to do in any investment. So if we're going to do it, we need to do things right and be successful to get there.
And speaking of that long-term success, before I let you go, Ewan, I think, the collection of assets you have, Cove, Granite Creek, Ruby Deeps, the Bonanza CRD at Hilltop, and now you've added the FAD deposit by the acquisition of Paycore. That's your path to success, along with your mining infrastructure.
Yeah, definitely. We've been fortunate to have been able to assemble a very high quality portfolio of high grade deposits in one of the safest mining jurisdictions. And these type of deposits, as you know, are very difficult to find. It's very difficult to find one, never mind three. So we've been fortunate over the past several years to have made some key acquisitions to position ourselves with some of what we believe to be the top quality projects you'll find anywhere in North America.
You could make the argument there's actually 5, because it looks like on your Ruby Hill area, you could have Ruby Deeps, the Hilltop CRD, possibly the Skarn, and the FAD. That's on one project.
Yeah, and pretty soon you'll start to see a lot more results flowing out of Ruby Hill from this year, and we're pretty excited by what's developing there, especially along that Hilltop fault. As we go east, we're finding CRD and lots more skarn. So that's a pretty exciting project for us to be advancing with, kind of focused a bit on exploration right now because of the success we've had. And then don't forget that Lone Tree, which is kind of, I think the market sees as a processing plant for us, has a 3 million ounce open pit project sitting there that we're going to look at sometime in the future. And below that pit and the historic pit, there is a high grade refractory deposit. I'd say in terms of grade, pretty much on par with Ruby Hill, and we're not even drilling that right now. So it's a project that I think is for the future for us, but will ensure that hopefully 20-25 years from now, the autoclave is still getting filled with mineralization.
Wow, Ewan, you got any closing comments for us? I know we're running late here. We're both burning the midnight oil.
Yeah, it's definitely just before midnight, and we've got more news out in the morning, so I better turn in, and thanks for having me on again, Al.
Okay, Ewan, thank you very much, and I'm going to close it off. Have a good sleep.
Thank you.
All righty, there you go. i-80 Gold has an exciting portfolio of assets. They're always aggressively working on those assets and putting out lots of results. And collectively, the way I look at i-80 Gold, it's, if you're looking for the potential of a cornerstone asset that's exposed to gold with less downside risk, you've really got a great situation with i-80 Gold as a candidate. They kind of are unique in that they're a company that's on the 2 waves of the Lassonde curve. One is the wave on exploration success, and the other is the wave on putting something into production. And they're aggressive in both areas, and that makes them quite unique. And I really like to reiterate their goal, which is to turn into a 400,000 plus ounce gold producer in Nevada, and one of the few companies that are American gold focused, and trading on the New York Stock Exchange and on a couple of key indexes. And so it's a good combination of assets, well-run company. Do your homework. As always, speak with your financial advisor before making any investment decision. i-80 Gold is a sponsor. They pay me a fee. That enables me to do a lot of homework on the company and a lot of content. But my shows are for information purposes only. It's important for you to speak with your financial advisor and do your homework. Go to their website, check out their news releases, check out their corporate presentation, and give the company a call. It's a great way to do your due diligence. And on that note, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.